The Odyssey floated in silence above the dark side of Titan. Commander Vale stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the glowing blue orbs spinning in the stasis field. Pulse softly alive, aware, and impossibly powerful. The blink drive, humanity's greatest invention? It didn't move ships through space. It moved space around ships with it. The Odyssey could blink through reality, slipping past enemy lines or vanishing from battle in an instant. Earth's enemies feared it. Earth's allies didn't know it existed. Only a few people were trusted with it. And tonight, someone had betrayed that trust. Commander, said Ensign Laura, her voice shaky. Unidentified ship approaching. No, IFF. Just appeared out of nowhere. Vale stepped forward. How close? She glanced at her screen. 5 kilometers. It wasn't there a second ago. Linked in, Vale's blood ran cold. Only Earth had that tech. Red alert, he said quietly. Klaxons wailed. Lights on the bridge turned blood red. Officers rushed to stations, hands flying across controls. On the forward screen, the alien ship shimmered into focus. It was unlike anything they'd seen. Dark silver skin, shifting as if alive. No clear engines. No visible weapons. It hovered like a ghost, and then it vanished. Where? Someone began to say boom. The Odyssey shook. Sparks flew from panels. Vale grabbed a railing. They're inside our shields, cried Laura. Hull breach on. Deck 4. Out, shouted the weapons officer. They blinked into the ship, Vale said. Okay, almost whispering. The alien vessel reappeared this time, right beside the Odyssey. On Vale saw them tall, pale, humanoid. Glowing veins of light under thin skin. No mouths. Black eyes. The VALARI. He recognized them from first contact reports. The ones who claimed peace. The ones Earth invited to witness the blink drive test 2 days ago. They lied, he said. This was all a setup. The forward screen crackled. A Vellery face filled it, staring at them with cold, alien silence. Then, in perfect English, it spoke. You built it. We remembered it. Then the screen went black. Boarding parties on multiple decks. Laura yelled. We're trying to reach the core. Vale didn't wait. He drew his sidearm, turned to the team. Protect the drive at all costs. This isn't a fight we win. This is a fight we survive. He ran from the bridge, boots slamming against metal floors. Alarms blared through the ship. Gunfire echoed down the halls. In every direction, crew fought tall. Ghost-like invaders who blinked through walls like phantoms. Vale reached the core chamber. 2 Marines were down. One still fired his rifle at the shimmering figures inside. A Vellery looked up. Then blinked gone, and a flash hand reappeared behind the Marine. Vale shot at mid-motion. The alien collapsed, body fading like smoke. He ran into the chamber, sealed the blast doors behind him. The blink core still pulsed in the center, floating above its magnetic field. Lock down the drive, he said into his cum. Now we're trying, came the voice. They've hacked the system, Commander. They're overriding it. Remotely, Vale turned toward the interface console. Symbols in Vellery script were writing themselves across the display. Too late, the core spun faster. It started to glow then. Gone. Gone. Vale stared at the empty field. The core had vanished. All at once, the ship seemed to breathe, like the pressure of space had changed around it. Then came a second shockwave, not physical, but through reality itself. The Odyssey screamed as its blink containment field failed. The Vellery ship outside blinked, away again, this time with the stolen core aboard. Vale grabbed the side panel and yelled into his cum. They took it. The blink drive is gone. There was silence. Then Earth Command's voice came through. Impossible. Are you sure? Vale didn't answer. Instead, he sent the security footage, the cum logs, and the core's telemetry. Seconds later, Earth's Command cut the line. They didn't want the truth. Not yet. Vale knew what would happen. They'd call it sabotage, human error. Deny the blink drive ever existed, and while they covered it up, the Vellery would start using it. He took one last look at the hollow drive chamber. Smoke filled the room. Lights flickered. Footsteps behind him. He spun. Laura stood there, covered in blood, holding a datapad. I copied the last activation signal, she said. Their blink coordinates. We know where they went. Vale stared at her. Are you with me? He asked. I'm the one who started recording them days ago, she said. I've always been with you. Vale nodded once. Then he made the call. Bridge. This is Commander Vale. Evacuate all crew. The ship's lost. I need a stealth shuttle prepped. Immediately. Where are you going? The voice asked. Vale walked past the dead Valari on the floor. His voice was calm now, focused. I'm going to steal it back. The Odyssey groaned as its systems began to fail. Vale and Laura ran through the lower decks as the last surviving crew climbed into escape pods. Fires burned in the walls. Air hissed from ruptured pipes. The massive ship, once humanity's greatest vessel, was now a dead hulk. By the time they reached the hangar, only one stealth shuttle remained. The Marauder Vale had designed it himself during the early blink, years coated in plasma-absorbent armor. The cloaking hull and short-hop blink capability. It was their only chance. They launched as the Odyssey began to break apart behind them. The ship drifted towards Saturn, pieces of it glowing as it entered Titan's shadow in the silence of space. Stared at the stars ahead. The Valari had stolen the blink drive, but they didn't know what they'd started. Blink technology was human-made, built from pain, fear, an endless trial, and humans weren't going to let it go. Not without a fight. Back on Earth, reports came in. An asteroid mining station vanished. A Martian cargo ship was destroyed mid-jump. Every incident had one thing in common: a ship that blinked in, then out. Before anyone could respond, the Valari weren't testing the blink drive. They were already using it. Worse, they were getting better at it. Earth's command still said nothing publicly, but their secret channels buzzed with panic. They'd lost control. Meanwhile, in deep space, Vale plotted the course toward the stolen coordinates. He didn't have a fleet. He didn't have orders, but he had something stronger, a promise. And the Valari would soon learn something very old, very dangerous, and very human. When you steal from Earth, Earth sends someone to steal it back. And this time, Earth had sent Vale. The Marauder drifted through the black, silent void of uncharted space. No beacons, no signals, no stars in sight. Just a heavy darkness that pressed on the ship like deep water. Commander Vale sat in the cockpit, staring at the coordinates stolen from the Valari blink signal, the place they blinked to. It wasn't on any map. Laura, sitting beside him, frowned at the screen. This system doesn't exist, she said quietly. It's hidden behind a gravity veil. No comes in or out. We're flying blind, Goodvale replied. Means they think they're safe. He reached forward, keyed in the jump sequence. The Marauder's small blink core hummed to the life folder, slower and weaker than the stolen drive, but it would do. Blink in, lights off, no comes. If we're lucky, they won't see us coming. Laura tightened her harness. Not. Vale gave her a look. Then we make sure someone hears the noise we make going down. The Marauder blinked. Reality tore for a split second and then stitched itself back together, and there it was. A Valari cruiser. Bigger than any human ship. Half organic, half machine. Hovered inside a gas cloud, invisible to normal sensors, protected by the same tech they'd stolen. Vale's eyes narrowed. There's the thief. But as they drifted closer, they saw something else. Small pods floating near the cruiser. Dozens of them. Some were cracked open. Some were still sealed. Laura magnified the image. Her breath caught. They're human. Frozen bodies. Some still alive. Barely. Trapped in cryosleep. Others had strange metal wires running through. Their skulls? They're using them as test subjects, she whispered. They're experimenting with human minds. Vale stared. His hand gripped the control stick tight. They didn't just steal our drive. They're trying to copy the pilot interface. The blink drive didn't work with just computers. It needed thought, human intuition, pattern recognition, a spark that machines couldn't mimic. That's what made it dangerous. Vale looked away. From the screen, "We're boarding that ship." Laura blinked. "What?" "We don't even know how many are inside." "Doesn't matter." She saw it in his face. He'd already made up his mind. "All right," she said. "But if we die, it's your fault." They suited up, locked weapons, and blinked the Marauder closer under cloak. At 50 meters out, Vale launched a grav hook. It latched onto the Volari hull with a silent thud. They cut a hole. No alarms, just the whisper of suction as they slipped through and entered the belly of the alien beast. Inside, the ship pulsed like a living thing. Walls breathed. Lights moved like veins. The temperature was too warm. The air smelled like burnt metal and rotting fruit. Vale motioned to the left. They moved fast, rifles raised. Laura carried a signal jammer. Vale carried a blink beacon on, emergency return point. If they needed to vanish instantly, the hallway opened into a chamber. Dozens of human pods lined the walls. Inside each one was a person, some in uniform, some civilians. Wires connected, their heads to a massive core in the center of the room. Laura scanned it. They're copying neural patterns, trying to teach their computers how to think like us. Vale nodded grimly. They're failing. That's why they need more. Then a voice rang out, smooth, cold, and Valeri. "You came to reclaim your fire." A tall figure stepped from the shadows, pale, glowing skin, slits for eyes, no weapon in hand. But he didn't need one. He blinked, vanished, then reappeared right behind Vale. Vale ducked just in time. A blade of light sliced through the air where his head had been. He rolled. Fired missed. The Volari blinked again, zipping across the chamber. "They've learned to fight using the drive," Laura shouted, opening fire. The alien dodged again, but this time, Vale tossed a flash grenade. The light was blinding. Even the Volari staggered. Vale rushed forward, slammed the alien into the wall, and fired 3 shots point blank into its chest. The body fell, fizzing out like smoke. "Was that real?" Laura asked. "No idea," Vale said. "But I hope it hurts." He ran to the core, pulled out the detonation charge, and slapped it onto the central node. "I'm blowing this place to hell. Help me get those pods released." Laura nodded, fingers flying across alien panels. One by one, the human pods powered down. Cryosystems hissed. Some began to stir, then alarm sirens screamed. Not human alarms. Alien ones. High-pitched, like something alive was in pain. "They know we're here," Laura shouted. Vale opened, comes to the Marauder. "Beacon now." The emergency blink beacon lit up in his hand, humming with energy. The countdown began. 10 seconds. Suddenly, another Volari blinked into the room. This one massive, armored, faster than the first. He charged straight at Vale. Vale raised his rifle too slow. The alien hit him like a truck, slammed him into the wall, pinned him with a blade across the throat. "You are primitive," the Volari hissed, "but you learn fast." Vale stared into its eyes. Then he smiled. "So do we." He hit the detonator. The chamber exploded behind them, but Vale and Laura were already blinking out. Pulled through space back to the Marauder, they slammed into. The cockpit rolled across the floor. Behind them, fire poured out of the Volari ship's hull. "Drive now." Vale barked. The Marauder blinked out just as 2 more Volari ships appeared in the cloud, back in human space. Safe for the moment, the ship drifted while Vale caught his breath. Laura slumped into her seat. "That was insane," she muttered. "Yeah," Vale said. "But we got what we came for." He held up a small data crystal stolen from the Volari. Core during the fight. Inside was something incredible. The alien ship's jump logs. Every place they'd blinked to. Every outpost. Every stolen experiment. "Earth needs to see this," Laura said. Vale shook his head. "No. Earth Command doesn't trust us. They'll bury it." "Then what do we do?" Vale looked out the window at the stars. "We show the people. We tell the truth. Start a war they can't cover up." Laura was quiet a moment, then she smiled. "Well then," she said, Light the first fire. The Marauder turned toward Earth. Behind them, the Valari ships began to move. The war had truly begun, and humanity angry. Outnumbered and betrayed was just getting started. Carolyn always followed orders. Until today, she sat alone in the dark communications bunker, buried beneath the Pacific Ocean. Her headset buzzed with encrypted static. Lines of code scrolled across her screen like a waterfall. The message she just intercepted wasn't supposed to exist. Top secret project decoy classified activation. Confirmed subject, blink drive handoff phase. Successful signal received by hostile party as INT and D. Her fingers froze on the keyboard, she whispered. To herself, it was a setup. Everything she'd believed, every briefing, every news report about the blink drive's theft, it was all a lie. Earth Command hadn't lost the drive. They'd given it away. On purpose, Kara stood up, shaking. The room was silent, except for the humming of machines and the distant beat of sonar pulses. She keyed open a secure channel, Commander Vale. She whispered into the mic. If you're still alive, you were right. Far above her in deep space, the Marauder blinked past Saturn's rings. Commander Vale was alive and furious. He'd just escaped a Valari cruiser after witnessing humans being used like test animals. They weren't just studying the blink drive, they were trying to become us now. He knew why. The stolen drive they were using it wasn't the original. It was Project Decoy, a stripped-down version, stable and incomplete. But the Valari didn't know that someone high up had wanted them to take it. Vale stood in the ship's cockpit as Laura played back Kara's intercepted message. When it ended, he stared at the screen, cold and still. She found it, he said. The leak, the plan, everything. Laura's voice was tight. So Earth Command wanted the Valari to steal our tech? Why? Because they wanted to draw them out, Vale replied. And more than just them. They wanted to see who else would. Show up once the blink drive was loose. Set a trap, she muttered. And we were the bait. Vale nodded. Worse, they planned to lose us. The Odyssey was meant to be destroyed. Laura stepped back. That's murder. Welcome. 2 black projects, Vale said darkly. He didn't trust Earth Command before. Now, he was sure of one thing. They weren't just covering up mistakes. They were playing a much bigger game. On Earth, Kara sent the message out through a secret backdoor in the defense network. Just one signal, one burst of truth. She knew it. Wouldn't stay hidden long, and she didn't care. Within minutes, her screen lit up with an incoming call. High Command, unmarked channel. Voice only. You violated protocol, Lieutenant Lin. She said nothing. You're interfering in a project you were not cleared to understand. Still nothing. Stand down, or you will be considered hostile. Kara stared at the blinking cursor, then typed 2 words. Do it. She grabbed her sidearm, pulled the emergency wipe lever, and blew the bunker's servers with a sharp hiss of nitrogen gas. Then she ran. Out of the base. Into the tunnels. Onto the escape rail. She was going rogue. Because somewhere out there, Vale was fighting this war alone. And he wouldn't last much longer. Meanwhile, aboard the Marauder, Vale was hunting ghosts. The stolen Valari jump logs had revealed something strange. Coordinates that didn't point to enemy worlds or bases, they pointed to human space. Abandoned colonies, quiet outposts, dead moons, and one Terran relay station that was supposed to be decommissioned 20 years ago. They blinked in close. No signals, no signs of life. Just a quiet little rock floating above a dead gas giant. Too quiet, Laura muttered. Vale powered down the ship's systems and drifted in on silent mode. As they approached, motion sensors pinged. Something was moving inside. He and Laura suited up. They blinked down. Inside the station, the lights still worked. The air was breathable. Walls were coated in dust. But not decay. It hadn't been abandoned. It had been hidden. Laura found the logs first. Top secret project tags. Strange medical data. Blink field resonance tests. M1 repeating name. Ghost. Vale froze. He remembered that name. It was whispered in the old files back when the blink drive was still theory. Rumors of a man who could phase through matter during early experiments. A test pilot who never came back. Some said he burned up in a misfire. Others said he changed. Laura looked at him. Ghost isn't a code name, she said. It's a person. Vale walked down a long hallway, led by soft, blinking lights. They came to a sealed door. On it, Biohazard Level 9 underneath, scratched into the metal by hand. Don't open unless you're ready to become a god. Vale opened it. Inside was a cryopod. Tubes ran into the walls. Machines blinked in EPS, E, M, E, dot, and inside the pod, a man alive, eyes open, watching him. Subject 0. Vale breathed. You're real. The man in the pod barely moved. His face was scarred, hair white, but his eyes burned with a strange light. You're late. He whispered. Vale and Laura stared. He spoke again, stronger this time. They took the decoy. As we've planned, but now they're close to figuring out the real one. You have to stop them. Vale stepped forward. Why you? Why are you in there? Because the real blink core, the man said slowly, is fused to my nervous system. Laura's mouth dropped. You are the drive, he nodded. Double quotes, and if they find the signal I give off, they'll come. All of them. Valari. Others, things older than both our races. Vale turned to Laura. If we stay here, we lead them right to him. We move him, we risk killing him. They were out of time. Then Vale got an idea. We don't move him. We weaponize him. The old man smiled. Now that sounds like a human. Dog dodged satellite scans and digital firewalls. She reached an old underground hacker. Collective in the Himalayas, the only people left who believed Earth's command had secrets worth exposing. She played them the intercepted data. The proof? They went silent. Then one of them asked, What do you want us to do? She said 2 words. Broadcast everything. The truth began to leak. Slowly at first, then faster. Citizens whispered. Colonies panicked, and in orbit Earth command prepared to shut it all down, but it was too late. Commander Vale had already lit the fuse, and the fire was spreading. The Valari War Moon was bigger than anything Earth had ever seen. It wasn't just a ship. It was a floating death machine the size of Manhattan, orbiting a dead star in a system no human had ever charted. From a distance, it looked like a cracked, black egg covered in jagged towers, blinking lights, and strange structures that pulsed like organs. Around it, debris floated silently, broken ships, shattered moons, and human satellites. The Marauder drifted just outside sensor range. Inside, Commander Vale stared at the screen in silence. Laura sat beside him, teeth clenched, eyes locked. On the object in the center of the Valari station, a sphere, floating above a dark platform, roughly the size of a small building. Surrounded by shield rings and strange glowing pylons. The blink bomb. It's ready, Laura whispered. Vale said nothing for a long time. Then, how long until it fires? She tapped keys. Based on the core pulses, 3 Earth days, maybe less, in the target. Laura's face turned pale. Earth? Vale's jaw tightened. They're not just testing anymore. They're going to erase us. He stood and turned away from the screen. This was worse than he thought. The Valari weren't playing politics. They weren't looking to control Blink tech anymore. They wanted to wipe Earth out with one single, perfect, silent shot. He looked over his shoulder at Laura. We need to get inside. Laura shook her head. Vale, that moon's a fortress. Blink-proof shields. Full fleet patrol. That thing isn't just a bomb, it's a message. To who? To the rest of the galaxy, she said. They're showing they can erase anyone. Anytime. Vale thought of Ghost Subject 0, still hidden in the Terran facility with the real Blink core fused to his body. If the Valari figured out the decoy was fake, they'd come looking for the real one. And if they reached him first, the galaxy might not survive what happened next. We go in, he said. We find a weakness. We shut it down. Laura's voice was soft. And if we can't, Vale met her eyes. And we detonate it before they do. Back on Earth, chaos was spreading. Kara Lynn's leak had exploded across the net. All over the colonies in Mars, Titan Europa people were asking questions. Why had Earth Command hidden the theft? Why were there no warnings? Why was there no public defense alert? The truth was catching up, but Earth Command wasn't backing down. Instead, they issued new orders. Evacuate Mars. Prepare fallback to Alpha Centauri. Kara intercepted the signal just in time. They're giving up on Earth, she said aloud. They're going to let it die. She slammed her fist against the desk in the underground bunker in the Andes Mountains. The rebel techs around her paused, watching. One of them stepped forward. What do we do now? Kara looked up. We don't run. We don't hide. We help Vale stop this before that bomb ever leaves orbit. The Marauder blinked inside the war moon. It wasn't easy. Vale used stolen Valari codes and energy masking shields to sneak through the outer layer. From there, he and Laura suited up and jumped through a utility shaft into the lower tunnels of the moon itself. It felt like walking through the stomach of a god. The walls breathed. Lights blinked in patterns that seemed almost alive. The air vibrated. Somewhere above them, deep in the core chamber, the blink bomb pulsed. Each pulse sent a tiny ripple through reality itself, like a muscle flexing before a punch. They moved. Quickly, guided by the data stolen from the last Valari cruiser, but halfway down a corridor, Laura stopped. She pointed to the wall. Carved into the metal was something she didn't expect. Earth script, old. Faded, burned into the surface with a laser. Words written by a human. It's not a weapon, it's a signal. Don't let them finish it. Vale leaned in close. A serial number was scratched below. It was from Odyssey, his old ship. Someone had been here before. Someone captured, not killed. Prisoners, Vale whispered. They kept survivors to work on this thing. Turned to Laura. They didn't just build a bomb. They studied us. Used us to finish what they couldn't complete themselves. Then someone tried to stop it, she said. Someone left us a warning. Vale looked toward the core. Let's hope we're not too late. They reached the central vault. Inside, the blink bomb floated in its cage. It wasn't just pulsing. Anymore, it was humming, singing in a low frequency that pressed against their skulls. Laura winced. It's calling something. Vale stepped closer. Then he saw them. 6 humans, alive, strapped to neural chairs, connected directly to the core. Their brains were being used as processing units. The Valari weren't powering the bomb with fuel. They were powering it with human minds, blending blink energy with intuition, thought, and instinct. They couldn't make the drive work without us, Laura whispered. So they built the bomb around our biology. Vale's face was stone. We shut it down now. She rushed to the control pillar. If I pull the interface lines, they'll flatline. I need time to reboot their brainwaves first. Vale turned. To watch the door? They didn't have time. Already footsteps echoed from the far end of the hall. Valari guards. Armored. Armed Vale lifted his rifle. He blinked across the chamber. Behind the first alien, fired once. The head exploded in a burst of black mist. The other 2 spun. But Vale was gone again. Blink. Shoot. Blink. Move. He became a blur, half phantom, half fury. But the last one fired a pulse shot. It hit Vale square in the chest. He flew back, slammed against the wall, vision spinning. Laura screamed. Vale. He coughed. I'm good. Keep going. She finished rerouting the neural links. One by one, the humans in the chairs gasped.
Ice.
Opened, hearts restarted, the bomb dimmed. The pulsing slowed, then stopped. But before they could celebrate, a new figure stepped into the room. Tall, pale, different. Not a Valari. Foot soldier, a leader. He didn't blink. He walked. No fear. He looked at Vale and spoke in perfect English. You stole our power. You don't understand what you hold. The blink is older than your race. It connects more than space. It connects minds, time, memory. Your children playing with fire. Vale stood up, blood on his lips. He looked the alien in the eye. We don't care where it came from. He raised his rifle. Because when you threaten Earth, we burn your house down. He fired. The alien blinked, but Vale had thrown a sonic trap. The blink failed. The bullet hit, headshot, the alien collapsed. Laura triggered the recall. Beacon the Marauder blinked them out with the survivors just as the war moon began to shake. Without its energy link, the bomb was destabilizing. They didn't look back. Behind them, the war moon cracked, folded in on itself, blinked out of reality forever. Hours later, drifting in deep space. Vale watched the stars. They'll come again, Laura said. Vale nodded. Let them. Then he held up a piece of the bomb core salvaged in the chaos. Not powered, but still warm. I think this was just a prototype, he said. Laura stared at it. Then where's the real one? Vale looked into the dark. Hidden, he said, or waiting to be found. She frowned. By who? He didn't answer, because deep in his gut, he already knew. There were others watching. The Volari weren't the only ones who remembered the blink, and now that Earth had used it in war, the galaxy would come looking. Everyone thought Commander Vale died on the war moon. News spread fast-leaked footage, garbled scans, a collapsed moon core after a strange energy pulse. Earth Command never confirmed it, but they didn't deny it either. The public believed. He was gone. But he was, deep in a hidden Terran outpost, far beyond official star maps. Vale lay inside a recovery tank. Tubes in his chest, burn marks on his back. Neural monitors blinked, tracking activity the doctors couldn't explain. He wasn't unconscious. He wasn't awake. He was between blinking. Laura sat beside him, watching the glass chamber. Her eyes were tired, her uniform was torn, but she never left his side. Carolyn stood near the doorway, arms crossed. She had finally joined them, arriving 3 days after the war moon was destroyed. She brought files, maps, names, and something much bigger. Proof that Earth Command had known the Volari weren't the only threat. They had been hiding signs of other species. It's far older, watching from the edge of space, waiting. What if he doesn't? Wake up? Kara asked softly. Laura didn't look up. Then we lose. Inside the tank, Vale's mind was somewhere else. He was reliving his first test jump back when Blink Tech was still unstable. He remembered the cold, the way time bent, the feeling of his own body stretching. But now, it was different. He wasn't just blinking through space. He was blinking through memory suddenly. He stood in a black field with stars overhead. Alone, a voice called to him quiet. Deep, not quite human. You touched what should not be touched. He turned. A figure stood behind him, tall-robed. No face. It wasn't Vierlor. It was older, something that had seen the blink before humans were even born. You used the key. Now others are waking. Vale stepped forward. Who are you? Witness a warning, and soon a judge. The stars bent around the figure. You are still changing, Commander. You were exposed to the true core. The original signal is now part of you. And the signal never stops. Then everything collapsed. Vale woke up gasping. Alarms blared. Medex rushed in. Laura yanked the tube from the chamber and caught him before he fell. He coughed, shaking, eyes wide. I saw it. The real enemy? Not Volari? Something else? Kara stepped forward. We've seen traces, like sensor ghosts on the edge of systems, places where time flows wrong. Your neural scans match patterns found in deep space ruins we couldn't decode. Vale sat up. It's not just a drive. It's not even a weapon. The blink drive is a signal. We didn't build it. We reactivated it. Everyone went quiet. Vale looked at them both. Ghost told me something. The core he's fused to isn't the only one. There's a second core, a true blink key. Earth never found it. Kara frowned. Then who has it? Vale stood up, unsteady but burning with energy. We're going to find out. That night, Laura sat with him outside the outpost under a glass dome, watching the stars. You were gone for 3 days, she said. I thought I lost you, Vale. Looked at his hand. Blink energy flickered along his skin's small blue sparks. I think I'm changing. I don't know how much longer I can pass for human. You're still human, she said, just more dangerous now. We need to wake up Ghost, she nodded. I've already started the prep. Ghost Subject Zero had been resting, his mind split between machine and man. But now the pulses from Vale were syncing with his neural field. He opened his eyes. As Vale walked in, you blink through the edge, he said calmly. Vale nodded. What's waiting out there? Ghost didn't smile. Not a species, not ships. Something bigger, something that lives in the blink. It's been watching since the Volari first tore open space, now that we've used it. It's coming. Vale finished. Ghost reached into the table beside him and pulled out a glowing shard half organic. Half metal, the second core, he said. I hid it decades ago, thought I could protect it. But it's starting to call again. Laura stepped into the room. I can't move it here. The signal will draw every hostile ship in the sector. Vale nodded, then we bring it to them. Kara raised an eyebrow. To who? He looked at all of them. We're going to bait the Watchers. We force them into the open. Let the galaxy see what we're really up against. And then, Kara asked. Vale grinned. Then we do what humans always do. Fight, Laura said no. Vale stood tall, the blink energy crackling under his skin now. We adapt. The next day, the team prepared for the mission. The second core, small but heavy with power, was loaded into a shielded chamber on the Marauder. The destination? An ancient Velary signal sighted abandoned long ago, located at the intersection of 5 gravitational anomalies. A place where time ran strange and reality bent in whispers. Kara took the helm. Laura ran tactical. Vale stood at the center, eyes closed, hands near the core. As the ship blinked forward, he whispered, Let them feel us coming. Elsewhere, beyond known space, something shifted. A being older than stars turned its gaze toward the flickering. Human signature. Its mind was not a mind. Its thoughts came as gravity, heat, and hunger. The humans had awakened the door, and doors could swing both ways. The hunt had begun. The sky above Earth turned black, not from nightfall, but from arrival. Volari ships blinked into low orbit, one after another, massive and silent. Some looked like silver blades. Others spun like bones floating in space. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They simply appeared. The world froze. Earth Command scrambled jets and activated orbital defenses. But it was already too late. The Volari weren't here to threaten. They were here to finish it. The stolen. Blink technology had evolved. They didn't just blink across space anymore. They blinked through defense grids, missile locks, shields. They blinked through Earth itself. The first attack was silent. A weapons array in Siberia simply vanished, blinked into itself, crushed in a fold of space. No explosion. No fire, just ... gone. In high orbit, the Terran fleet stood in shaky formation, frigates, cruisers, a few carriers. Kara Lynn stood on the bridge of the Artemis, watching the chaos unfold. She gripped the railing as another Volari ship blinked inside a human dreadnought, slicing it in half like fruit. "Where's Vale?" the captain shouted. Kara didn't answer because she didn't know. Across the stars, far from Earth, the Marauder. Hung motionless in deep space, Commander Vale stood barefoot on the hull. Helmet off, wrapped in a pressure shield, eyes glowing faint blue. Behind him, the second blink core pulsed inside its containment field. He could feel it now. Feel them. The Volari. The ones who lived in the folds between moments. He took a breath and blinked. Instantly, it was gone. Above Earth, a Volari capital. Ship approached the planet's atmosphere. Long tendrils of light streamed behind it like wings. It turned its front toward Earth's surface. On the bridge of the Artemis, Kara saw the energy spike. They're powering the blink bomb. The new versions, smaller, faster, smarter. It didn't need a moon-sized shell anymore. It needed just one carrier And a target Earth was that target. Time to impact? Captain asked. 15 seconds. Then the impossible happened. The Valari ship exploded. No warning, no beam. Just implosion. Torn in half, folded inward like crushed paper. From the wreckage, something floated out. A man. One man. Vale, he blinked again across. Space Ant appeared on another ship, this time inside. His body hummed with energy. Stolen Valari tech now. Responded to his thoughts. He was the weapon. He tore through the corridors, blinked, past guards, ripped out power cores, and blinked away before the ships could react. 10 Valari ships fell in 60 seconds. One man, one mind, one blink at a time. On Earth, the world watched from every screen. News drones captured it live. The return of Commander Vale. Blinking across the stars like lightning, ripping holes in the enemy fleet. Children in bunkers stared, mouths open. Elders in orbit cried. The people whispered, humanity sent one man. That was enough. Inside the command ship of the Valari fleet, their high speaker stood motionless. His face was cracked glass. His mind was full of confusion. Impossible, he whispered. They were meant to break. An advisor stepped forward. He bonded with the core. The high speaker's voice was low. No, the core bonded with him. Then the ship shook. Vale blinked onto the bridge. He didn't carry a weapon. He was the weapon. The Valari guards raised blades. Charged, he blinked. 3 down, he blinked again. 2 more gone. Only the high speaker remained. Vale stared at him. You wanted fear, he said calmly. The Valari opened his arms. You wanted peace. You made it war. Vale didn't blink. You stole our mind. You blinked into our homes. You tried to erase Earth. And now? The Valari asked. Vale stepped closer. The lights dimmed. Now we send a message. He blinked one last time. Into the core of the Valari, ship end overloaded its blink chamber with raw, uncontrolled signal from the human drive. The ship screamed. Literally, its walls bent. Engines folded, and space tore open behind it. A rip. In reality, a tear into the place between. A warning to whatever lived beyond. We're not prey. We're not weak. We're human. The Valari. Fleet vanished. Some blinked out in fear. Others were swallowed by the tear Vale had left behind. The sky cleared. Earth stood. Not untouched, but alive. Hours later, in a Terran command chamber, Laura Kara and Ghost watched live feeds from across the system. Vale stood atop a beacon station on the moon, looking at Earth below. His body still hummed with power. His eyes were distant. He can't go back, Ghost said. No, Laura whispered. He's not like us anymore. But he's ours, Kara said. In the silence of space, Vale spoke into the void. I saw what's coming, what the blink connects, and we're not ready. Then he turned, toward the stars. His voice quiet, but we will be. We blinked and was gone. Commander Vale had vanished again. No one knew where. Some said he blinked beyond the edge of the galaxy. Others claimed he was hunting the ancient watchers in the folds of space. Earth Command had no answers, and static when they tried to track him, but Carolyn had a theory. He's not lost, she told Laura one night aboard the Marauder. He's laying the trap. The Earth was still standing, just barely. The Valari fleet was gone. They had left wounds cracks. In the atmosphere, collapsed orbitals, dead satellites. Still, the people rebuilt, because that's what humans do. But Vale had seen something no one else had. Something older than the Valari. Something that feeds on the blink. And now it had noticed Earth. Far beyond human space, in the void where even light refused to travel, Vale hovered in a pressure shell shaped like his body. Alone, he stared at a dark planet, a world with no sun, no sky. It wasn't alive. It wasn't dead either. It was watching the planet pulsed. A low hum vibrated through Vale's bones. He blinked forward and entered the maw. Inside, Space twisted like smoke. Memories weren't stable. He saw himself. At 8 years old, screaming in a training pod, he saw Laura covered in blood, yelling his name. He saw Earth burning, and something was laughing, not with joy, not with cruelty, with hunger. Vale braced his mind, focused. "I'm not afraid of you," he said to the dark. The laughter stopped. A voice replied, "Then you're already one of us." Vale gritted his teeth. "I'm still human." "Ah!" The voice echoed, "Not for long." Back on Earth, Ghost's health was fading. His body was too damaged. But he'd done one last thing, uploaded a final map. It showed the true structure behind the blink drive. It wasn't just a drive, it was a key. And when combined with a second court, the one bonded to Valet, could open something much, much larger than a wormhole. It could open a gate. Laura stared at the projection. "If he triggers it," Kara finished the sentence, "the entire galaxy will see us. Not just them. Everything." Good Ghost whispered, coughing. "Let them see." "See what?" Kara asked. Ghost smiled. "That we fight back." Died 5 minutes later. The Marauder blinked to the dark edge of known space. Laura sat at the helm. Kara stood by the weapon systems. They carried the last piece of the Korth, the one Ghost kept hidden until now. They were going to find Vale or die trying. As they approached, the dead star Vale had vanished into. Alarms rang. Laura's eyes widened. "He's here." Outside the ship, space shimmered and Vale blinked aboard. His suit was cracked. His body glowed with raw blink energy. His eyes were deeper, like he'd seen centuries. "We have to go," he said calmly. "What did you find?" Kara asked. He turned toward the blackness. "Not a species, not ships, a mind. Want peace. It doesn't want control. It just feeds. On thought, on time, on memory." He opened his hand. The blink signal. "It's a beacon, and we lit it." Kara stared at the stars. "And now?" Vale looked at them both. "Now we finish this." They traveled to the edge of the galactic fold. There, they activated the full blink core. Both halves merged into one. The stars warped. The gate opened, and from it, the Watchers came. They had no shape, no mass, only presence. They moved through. Space-like storms. Every ship that approached was a race not, destroyed, forgotten, but not the Marauder it held. Vale was ready. He stepped onto the hull, arms out. The blink energy inside him pulsed louder than ever. He shouted, "We are human." The Watcher stopped. He screamed louder, "We are small, we are new, but we don't bow." Then he blinked inside them. He flooded their minds with human memory, pain, joy, fear, victory, failure, love, everything. And, for one moment, the Watchers hesitated. They didn't understand, but they felt, and it hurt. The blink field collapsed. The gate cracked. The Watchers screamed. And then they ran back into the fold, into silence. The gate sealed. The core shut down. Vale collapsed on the hull. Laura and Kara pulled him inside. He was burned, fading, but smiling. "We won," Kara said, weeping. He whispered, "No, we made them bleed then." Closed his eyes. 3 months later, a monument was built on Earth. It showed a man standing under a broken star, arm raised to the sky. The plaque said, "Here stood one man." That was enough. HFY. For real. They never recovered Vale's body. The Marauder limped home through 3 broken jump gates. Its hull scorched and patched with emergency welds. Inside, the blink core, now dormant, trusted beneath layers of containment glass, humming faintly, like it was dreaming. Laura sat beside it, staring at the empty pilot seat Vale used. She hadn't said a word in days. Kara piloted in silence. Neither of them asked what came next. No one did. Because the galaxy had changed. Every species felt it. The Volari retreated to their homeworld and locked the gates. The Karakeen tribe's nomads, who'd once mocked humans sent ships to Earth bearing gifts and weapons, and called humanity the Flameborn. Even the ancient Kolth, who had ignored humans for centuries, sent a message. We felt the scream. You stood in the way that matters. Earth didn't respond. Not yet, because Earth was still mourning, still healing, still building. Ghost's archive was open to the public. He'd recorded everything. Blink drive prototypes, Velari communications, even his own mind experiments. Back when he first made contact with the core, the most important recording, though, was left locked until now. Kara and Laura sat in a dark chamber. Beneath the Terran Science Assembly, surrounded by politicians, military brass, and diplomats. Laura pressed play. Vale's voice filled the room. Calm, strong. If you're hearing this, I'm gone. Doesn't matter how. He paused. I saw what's coming. There's more. Always more. Things that wait, listen, adapt. But they all have one weakness. Another pause. They don't understand us. Static crackled. Then his voice returned. They think strength is numbers, or silence, or hunger. They don't understand rage. They don't understand grit. They don't understand what happens when you push a scared species so far into a corner that they stop being scared. I was never Earth's greatest soldier. I was just the first one mad enough to blink back. Silence. Then the file ended. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, an old senator stood. What do we do with this? Kara answered. We tell the truth. Laura nodded. And then we build more.
Ow.
10 years later, Earth's skies were full of ships, not warships. Explorers, diplomats, researchers. The BlinkNet was born a cautious, contained version of the core's technology that allowed humans to blink across local space. Linking colonies faster than ever before, the Watchers never returned. Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they wouldn't, but the message was clear. Don't knock on Earth's door unless you're ready to bleed. In a small settlement on Titan, a boy ran through the snow dust, chasing a blinking drone. His mother called after him. Don't go past the perimeter. The boy giggled, ignored her, and followed the blinking trail deeper into the hills. That's when he saw it, Figure tall, still staring at the stars. The boy approached carefully. You lost, Mr. Ye. The man didn't turn, but he spoke. Never really lost, just somewhere else. The boy blinked. You talk weird? The figure chuckled. Been told that. Then he turned. His face was older now, scarred eyes glowing faint blue. The boy stepped back. Are you a ghost? No, the man said softly. I'm just human. Then he blinked. Gone. The drone shut off. The snow settled. And somewhere, light years away, the stars shifted, because he was still watching, still blinking, still defending. And the galaxy would never forget the day one man became more than human. He became the message at forever.